Hey everyone, I'm Mike from theparkprodigy.com, and on today's video we're going to break down exactly how many days you need at Universal Orlando. And I have to be honest, the Universal ticket options are a bit confusing, but that's why this question and this video is so important, because this question really is going to help you figure out how many days you need for Universal Orlando and what is the best fit ticket for you. And listen, maybe by the end of this video we might help you save a couple bucks on your tickets, we might drop a promo code, but more importantly I want to help you figure out what's the best fit ticket for you, help you figure out which ticket do you need, how many days do you need in Universal Orlando. I'm really excited for this video, so let's go get started. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, we are going to discuss exactly how many days you need at Universal, but before we get into that, we do have to go over some of the basics. And Universal Orlando has three amazing theme parks. We have Universal Studios Florida, we have Islands of Adventure, and then of course we have Volcano Bay. So as you'll see, we really have to start asking some questions, get a feel for what are your priorities, what are the parks you want to visit, and that's how we're going to help you establish how many days you need for Universal. Okay, so let's start off with the most basic and the baseline. How many days do you need at Universal Orlando for all three theme parks? And for this, we're gonna say at least 3 days. Now, what that's going to allow you to do is it's gonna allow you to really give each park its own day. Now, for this, you're gonna go with the 3-park ticket. However, you can also go with the 3-park park-to-park ticket, which would allow you to visit all 3 of the Universal parks within the same day. You can mix it up, do 2 parks in one day. That ticket really gives you more flexibility. However, if that's your goal, if visiting all 3 theme parks is your goal, then you do need I would say 3 days, and you also need the 3-park ticket. So now jumping into some of the more common questions we get regarding just how many days you do need at Universal. Another very common question we receive is, Mike, can I do Universal Orlando in one day? And just like it sounds, it's gonna be very difficult for you to do everything at Universal Orlando in one day. Within the 3 parks, it's almost impossible, right? You can't. However, when you break it down, and let's say you're like, hey, Mike, I only wanna do the 2 Universal Orlando theme parks, I would say it's still gonna be very difficult. However, there are ways that you might be able to get around it, possibly upgrade your ticket, get the express pass, make sure you take advantage of early park admission, and in that situation, if you're like, I wanna do both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios within the same day, you really need to make sure you get that park-to-park ticket, which is going to allow you to visit both of the main 2 theme parks that we just discussed within the same day. Okay, so sticking with those 2 main theme parks, now you might be asking, Mike, if I do want to go to those 2 parks and I have more than one day, what is the ideal timeline? How many days do I need at Universal Studios for the main 2 theme parks? And in that situation, just like you might think, you need at least 2 days. We would say 2 days to be on the safe side. Again, 1 park per day if you're trying to relax a little bit more, or you want to give yourself some extra time to get on Hagrid's more than once, right? Then in that situation, we would say give yourself 3 days. 3 days for the 2 main Universal parks, minimum, to get through everything, really give yourself enough time to get on absolutely everything without upgrading your ticket. We would still say give yourself 2 days. Okay, so now that we've gone over some of the most popular questions regarding how many days you need at Universal Orlando, we're gonna give you some tips and tricks that might help answering that question for yourself. Now, tip number 1 is going to be always look around, check for deals. Now, Universal throughout the year might run some special ticket deals where it might be this past year it was buy 3 days, get 2 days free. In a situation like that, it might make more sense for you to extend your trip because you're getting those days for free, which is a great deal. Other than that, you could also go and check out our website. We do have a bunch of discounted theme park tickets, so it might be a little bit cheaper than you actually think to stay for that extra day. And of course, on the multi-day tickets, it is cheaper than buying, let's say, 1 day at a time. You're gonna get a better deal. So that's tip number 1. Okay, so moving on to tip number 2, and this is really for all my families who are watching this video and you're like, you wanna know what, Mike, we really only have 1 day, but we wanna do both Universal parks. We would say give some extra thought to what time of year you visit. Now, of course, there's gonna be an off-peak time of year here in Orlando where crowds are gonna be less than during the peak season, summer, holidays, all that good stuff, right? If you only have 1 day and you're really trying to get the most out of your 1 day at Universal and you're asking, can I do Universal in 1 day? Make sure to try to visit during one of the off-peak times of year, as crowds will be less, and again, you'll just have so much more flexibility. You'll be able to do Universal or get as much done in the 1 day you have here. Okay, tip number 3, you might be asking, Mike, do we really need 3 days? Do we really need to go to Volcano Bay? And I would say if water parks are your thing, or if lounging out, tropical vibes are your thing, then yes, you really do need to go to Volcano Bay. It is the best water park here in Orlando, and it's a ton of fun. Universal markets it as a third gate, and it really lives up to that hype. So I would say if you're gonna do, if that's your vibe, if that's something that you want by coming all the way to Florida, definitely go for it. Again, by buying a 3-day ticket, it's going to be cheaper than buying, the 2 main parks and grabbing that Volcano Bay ticket on its own. So again, it just makes the most sense to include it. In that case, get the 3-park ticket and you'll have a great time. Get Volcano Bay in and you're getting the right fit ticket at that point. Okay, so last tip, last but not least, don't sleep on early park admission. That is correct. If you can get early park admission and use it, and if you just watch this video and you're like, hey, Mike, again, I only have 2 days, I can't do 3 days, I wish I could, but I can't, you could still get a ton done at Universal Orlando, but you gotta prioritize, you gotta plan your days, specifically starting in the morning with early park admission. You'll get an extra hour into the theme parks. You will also get on some of the most popular rides with very little wait, such as Hagrid's Magical Creatures, the Velocicoaster. It will save you that much more time later on in the day, and hey, when you're saving time, right, that means you have less time that you need to be in the parks, less days. You could do a lot at Universal. Everyone's different, right? My biggest thing too is just make the best of it, right? Don't, 3 days is ideal, but if you don't have 3 days, perfectly fine. You could still have a great time. Okay, so there you have it. That is the complete guide to figuring out exactly how many days you need at Universal Orlando. I really hope it helped you decide what was the best fit ticket for you. Maybe you were coming for 4 days, but you were only going to the 2 theme parks and you don't have to get the 4-day ticket anymore. You're getting a 3-day ticket. Maybe you didn't realize that you wanted to go to Volcano Bay and now you figured out that the 3-park ticket is the right fit. You'll save a couple bucks. Thank you all again so much. Like I said, I'm going to leave a promo code. If you are in the process of planning Universal Orlando vacation and you do need a little additional help or some discounted theme park tickets with that early park admission to help you make the most of your time in the parks, go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. If you buy 2 days or more, you could use promo code MAGIC25 and get an extra $25 off your total ticket order. That's just another way for us to say thank you so much for supporting our small business. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys, like I said, found this video helpful, and I think that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.